Україна! 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 Захисникам України тричі! Слава! 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 Glory to Ukrainian defenders! Glory! 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 I'm gonna give a microphone to the Pavel, who's gonna say you a few good words.
It's raining quite heavily today, but that's fine. We are here for a greater cause. We are here for an important cause. Because what people indeed would be doing what Russia is doing nowadays, what people indeed would be leaving the traces of real-life horror that we've seen in Bucha, that we've seen after they were kicked out of Kherson, that we've seen after they gotten kicked out of Kharkiv, of the region around Kharkiv. This is a reminiscent situation to what we've seen in the past. Many times humanity has seen such things happen, and many times we've tried to stop them. One of the main things that we've done was the Geneva Convention, or conventions as there were four. The Geneva Conventions were meant to prevent people from suffering in war. Not the actual fighters, not the soldiers, but the people who were not participating in the fight. You see, it's impossible to stop people from dying in war, but it is possible to reduce the deaths and suffering to an absolute minimum. The problem is that some countries don't want to follow the Geneva Convention. Some countries have in their military's doctrine to rape, pillage, and execute people of the nations that they're invading to spread fear. To spread fear and panic amongst the people who they're conquering. To make sure that they will come to their leaders and say, it doesn't matter who's ruling us, as long as the extermination stops. That is how Russia wages war. That is how Russia has always waged war, and nothing has changed. Ever since the Russian Empire, ever since the disgusting Soviet Union that has killed an unbelievable amount of people, that has killed more Ukrainians than any other empire that has attempted to take our lands. Indeed. But there are still some people who would support the Soviet Union now. There are still some people, like Vladimir Putin, for example, who thinks that the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century. Quite an unbelievable thing to say, I'm sure you'll agree. It's as if a German chancellor of our days would say that the collapse of Nazi Germany has been a great catastrophe for humanity. An absolutely unbelievable thing. But the point is, Putin doesn't care. Putin is not trying to impress the world with his humanity. He's not trying to impress the world by saying that he's the good guy, that he's got righteousness on his side. No. He's trying to kill as many Ukrainians as possible, to break them, to make sure that they capitulate. But he's not going to succeed. Not anymore. This is no longer the old Ukraine. This is no longer the old world. This is no longer the Middle Ages where people would kill each other and get away with it. These days, there are consequences. These days, there are rules and laws to respect the prisoners of war, unlike the Russians did to the prisoners that they took in Azovstal. Unlike what they did in Bucha, where we found countless people executed in a bullet in the back of their head. When was the last time we've seen this, my friends? We've seen this often, way too often. And it's time to stop. It's time to finally put an end to such practices. Because this is only the beginning. If Russia manages to get away with what they've done in Ukraine, other authoritarian countries will look at it and will see it as weakness from the West, as weakness from the United Nations. They will see that if Russia has done it and gotten away, why can't we do it too? And they will do it. And this stems for a lot more than just the killings, to a lot more than just the executions in Ukraine, the rape, the pillage, the executions, all of that. It goes all the way to a full-scale nuclear war. If China sees that Russia can get away by invading Ukraine, what do you think they will do to Taiwan? A nation they've been claiming to be their own for a very long time. A very similar kind of discourse, I'm sure you'll agree, to to what Russia has had towards Ukraine. I ask you, what will the other nuclear nations think that will happen if they start an unprovoked and unjustified war? It will be an absolutely terrifying prospect, a terrible precedent for the whole world. It will mean that any nation that has nuclear weapons can attack, kill, torture, and rape whoever they wish, and fully get away with it. So I say no, and we all say no, and we say that Ukraine will not fall, because Ukraine is winning this war right now, and the only thing that the rest of the world needs to do is to continue the help and to give us more. Give us more weapons, give us more armament, give us better training, so that we can put this cycle of tragedy to an end at long last, so that no authoritarian regime like the Soviet Union are allowed to exist in our world, so that no more people will be killed, tortured, and mutilated like Russia has done and like the Soviet Union has done. Тому я вам всім, друзям, скажу, ми маємо продовжувати говорити за Україну. Ми маємо продовжувати говорити, тому що це найважливіша річ, за яку ми маємо говорити в наш час. Якщо ми не будемо за це говорити, то хто буде? Тому я вам всім кажу, слава Україні!
Героям слава! Дякуємо, Павле. Ми згодні з тобою. Thank you for God.